Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We're learning Mishnah Rosh Hashanah, Parak Dalet, Chapter 4, Mishnah Dalet, Mishnah 4. Okay. Originally, they would accept the testimony of the new moon for the months of Tishrei the entire day. Meaning, you're talking about day 30, right? Day 30 is you could have a month of 29 days or 30 days, right? So day 30 is the day that we're waiting to see if the witnesses show up to testify about the new moon that they saw earlier. Now, nobody knows what time of the day they're going to show up, right? So it could come out. They'll be coming towards the end of the day. They will be interrogated, and Beis Din will decide. Okay, we got our witnesses, and declare that day as the first day of the month, which in the case of Tishrei means that was Rosh Hashanah. That means they started off the day not knowing necessarily what the day is going to be, really or not. And it could be towards the end of the day. That's when they find out. So originally, this is what they did. They would accept the testimony of the new moon for the month of Tishrei the entire day, the entire day 30. Pamachas, one time, the Eidim delayed coming. They were late in coming. And the Levium, the Levites, got messed up when it came to the song they were supposed to sing. Now, that means like this. The Levium had the job of doing shir, of singing certain songs, or basically there were chapters of Tehillim that were sung when the carbon tamid, when the daily sacrifice were brought in the morning and the afternoon. Each day had its own special song. Each holiday had its own special song. Okay, so now, as we said, you start off the day 30. They start off the day. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. And typically that's what would happen. They wouldn't know that day was in the morning, whether day 30 was Rosh Hashanah or not. And therefore, what did they do? They would sing the weekday song. I mean, they're really assuming, meaning when it came to the song that the Levium sang, they went ahead and they assumed it was daytime. They assumed it was daytime. Not daytime. They assumed it was day 30, not Rosh Hashanah. By the time they came in the afternoon to bringing the afternoon daily sacrifice, typically by then they already knew whether today was Rosh Hashanah or not. And therefore, it would come out that since they typically knew that it was Rosh Hashanah by that time, then what song did they sing by the afternoon daily sacrifice? Rosh Hashanah song, the Rosh Hashanah, the special chapter of Tehillim dedicated for Rosh Hashanah. Well, one time what happened is that the witnesses didn't even come by the time the afternoon sacrifice, daily sacrifice took place. No one showed up. The Levium were like, what do we do? Weekday, Rosh Hashanah. They weren't sure because, again, in past years, they had always done the Rosh Hashanah one in the afternoon. But that's because it had been established. But now it wasn't established. So what did they do? So basically, they got stuck and did nothing. They did nothing. And that was not good. So therefore, Hiskinu shlo yehu mekablin ela ara mincha. It was instituted that the witnesses can only be accepted until mincha, meaning until the time for the afternoon daily sacrifice. Now, I did not have a chance to look, but when it says mincha, can I borrow this for a second? Oops. Okay. It says here the time of the offering of the afternoon daily sacrifice. So what that would mean, therefore, is that, by the way I understand it, if I'm understanding it correctly, that it means, we have mincha gedola, mincha ketana. We have the earliest time that the afternoon daily sacrifice could have been brought, and then we have the time that it was typically brought. Mincha ketana, 9.5 halachic hours into the day, was when the afternoon tamid was brought. So therefore, I'm understanding this Mishnah to be saying that that once mincha katana came around, once that part of the day came in, 9.5 hours into the day, hours means halachic hours or seasonal hours. At that point of time, that was the cutoff point. No more receiving witnesses anymore. And therefore, since there was no more chance of the rest of the day being declared the first day of the month being declared Rosh Hashanah, then what did the Levium do? They did the weekday. There was nothing to talk about. At that point of time, you knew that was no more, this day would no more be established as Rosh Hashanah. And therefore, they did the weekday. They did the weekday one. There would be no point for confusion. But there still is a problem. Now, let's read a little bit further. Now, if the Eidim do show up afterwards, I mean, when they come, right? So if they did show up after from Mincha time and onwards, which means if they show up, we're not going to accept them, right? We're not going to interrogate them, or whatever it is. We're not going to declare anything based on what they say. We keep that day as holy and the next day as holy. That means like this. Think about it. When you wake up day 30 in the morning, not knowing if it's Rosh Hashanah or not, so do you go to work? Do you get it? Do you take the bus to shul? What do you do that day? The answer is you got to keep it like Rosh Hashanah, as if it's Rosh Hashanah, because maybe it's going to be Rosh Hashanah, right? At the end of the day, if the sages declare that day as Rosh Hashanah, it was Rosh Hashanah from the beginning of the day. It's not just from now it's Rosh Hashanah. It's Rosh Hashanah from the beginning of the day. So if you don't know if today is going to be Rosh Hashanah or not, you got to keep it as if it's Rosh Hashanah, right? You have to keep it like it's actually Yom Tov. You have to refrain from all the activities that are forbidden on Yom Tov. Now, so everybody's like, keeping it Rosh Hashanah, and they're waiting. They're waiting for the witnesses. Is it going to be Rosh Hashanah? It's not going to be Rosh Hashanah. Comes Mincha time, right? Still didn't show. Right? That means everybody knows at this point that the rest of the day will not be Rosh Hashanah. It will not be Rosh Hashanah. So what do you do then? Flick on your lights, put on the radio, open your computer? No. You have to keep the rest of the day Yom Tov too. You have to finish the day as Yom Tov and then keep the next day as Yom Tov, because the next day, day 31, is for sure going to be the first day of the month, and for sure Rosh Hashanah. Okay? So this is this is what it means right now. So, and the reason that they did that was because, if it comes out that, you can start 3/4 of the day as Rosh Hashanah, and then afterwards go back to weekday, people are like, oh, what a waste this was, what a waste the whole first day was. And next year, when it happens, when you have to start this over again, they're not going to take it serious. Yeah. They're not going to take the whole Yom Tov serious. So therefore, they instituted that the whole first day, even if it came to the point where the rest of the day will not be Rosh Hashanah. You have to still keep the rest of the day as if it's Yom Tov. Okay, now, Mishacharav Beis Hamikdash. Once the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, okay, no Beis Hamikdash, no Levim singing any songs, no more issues, at least of that. His Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted, they went back to accepting the Eidas HaChodesh testimony of the month for the entire day. They went back to it. No more only up to Mincha time. It can even be even afterwards, because there was no more problem, right? There was no more issue of any of the Levim getting messed up with the song they had to sing. And therefore, he seems to have turned it back, but it was before that you could accept the testimony the entire day. But let me read to you here from the bottom, an interesting note. And this brings out from the Gemara in Beitza and Rashi. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai decree affected only the deadline by which the witnesses must come. Even if they came after the time of Mincha, the Beis Din accepted their testimony and sanctified the day as Rosh Hashanah, right? Nevertheless, it was still obligatory to observe the next day as Rosh Hashanah as well, just like before Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's decree. Follow that? What's happening is that, you know the first day is Rosh Hashanah. You know it. But at the end of the day, the fact that there was a point where we started off keeping 2 days Rosh Hashanah, right? That because previously there at least was the potential of keeping 2 days Rosh Hashanah. So even now, where you don't have that, you may not even have that issue, because the first day you'll establish as Rosh Hashanah, finished, right? It's not like before. There was a point of time where the whole day was kept Rosh Hashanah. Now you really know it's not going to be Rosh Hashanah. You got to finish off the day, and the next day is automatically Rosh Hashanah. Here, it's so, and there was that issue, as we said before. Now we're accepting witnesses a whole day. So witnesses a whole day, right? And at the end of the, again, if they don't show up that day, so again, you kept Rosh Hashanah at a doubt. If they go in and they show up at the end of the day, then you'll make that day Rosh Hashanah. Nonetheless, the fact that there was this practice of keeping the second day, at least under certain circumstances, the second day, right? Now also, Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai continued this practice of keeping the second day of Rosh Hashanah, even though the whole day you could accept the witnesses and the issues that we had before seemingly weren't relevant. Nonetheless, that part of keeping the second day, that stayed. Next, Amr B'Shua ben Karcha. B'Shua ben Karcha said, "V'oid hiskin Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai." Another thing that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted. Interestingly, the first half of the Mishnah that said they instituted, it doesn't say Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. It just says they. From here, it sounds like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai too. But V'oid his zayis hiskin Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Another thing Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted was Sha'afilu Reish Bezdin b'Chamakan, where even if the head of the Beis Din is wherever, is not at the Beis HaMikdash, he is not with the rest of the sages, he instituted Shlo Yuhu Eidim Holchen El Lamakim Avad. The witnesses would only go to where the sages were gathered, meaning the main person who is establishing the new month is the head of the Beis Din, because after interrogating the witnesses, he's the one who pronounces Mekudesh, and everybody else responds to him Mekudesh, Mekudesh. So he's really the main player. So it seems that, so if he's the main player, if he'll say he's not with the rest of the group, he's not with the rest of the group. So where should the witnesses go for interrogation? Where should witnesses go to testify for the new moon? By the rest of the sages or by him? So it would seem that originally they went to him. And, based on him and whoever else he got together to establish the new moon, that's what was done. Yochanan Zakkai instituted, you don't have to go to him. You could actually go to the rest of the sages. Okay? So here, although it was the head of the Beis Din who declared the day to be Rosh Chodesh, the witnesses need not go to him if he is not in his usual place. The other members of Beis Din will, if necessary, declare Rosh Chodesh in his absence. Meaning the witnesses, basically, it sounds like the witnesses would show up where? Yerushalayim, going to where the high court was. They come to the high court. What happens? They're not home is home. Everybody besides the main person's not there. So it would seem that there was a point of time where they would now go to him. And now Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is instituted. That's not necessary. Not necessary. At the end of the day, everybody can act, the rest of the sages can act in his place in declaring a Rosh Chodesh, even though he's not there. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So now